When journalists outside the press briefing first heard the noise, they thought it was celebratory fireworks. But the staccato rhythm popping in the background was actually a rapid succession of 20 live rounds. Those rounds were fired directly outside the gates of the White House. Inside the building, President Donald Trump was present and actively working as the gunfire echoed across the lawn. The Secret Service engaged immediately. Tactical units swarmed the perimeter, returned fire, and successfully arrested the heavily armed suspect on the spot. But the physical arrest raises a severe logistical question. An assailant managed to transport a weapon capable of unloading 20 rounds straight into the heart of the Capitol without triggering a single early warning. The security detail won the firefight. However, the fact that an armed shooter reached the final physical barrier reveals a catastrophic lapse in protective intelligence. This timeline tracks security incidents involving high-profile targets. A flat baseline of typical alerts spikes with severe threats. The first maps to the evacuation of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance from unexpected gunfire. The next shows a direct through line from organized foreign state operatives. Intelligence reports recently surfaced detailing active assassination plots directed specifically at Ivanka Trump. The architects driving these plots are the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, elevating the threat from individual grievances to state-sponsored operations. We are looking at a simultaneous surge in domestic lone wolf violence and complex foreign conspiracies. The agencies tasked with monitoring these distinct channels are displaying signs of severe overload. This split-screen flowchart breaks down the mechanics of the national security apparatus. On the left is preventative intelligence, gathering data and tracking threats. On the right is reactive defense, armed response, and physical barriers. The Secret Service heavily relies on the reactive column. They operate with specialized tactical training and firepower, ready to engage threats immediately. In the White House incident, the preventative side failed completely. Warning signs like a suspect scouting the perimeter went unnoticed, severing the connection before the reactive team even knew there was a problem. Multiple intelligence tripwires were bypassed. The suspect acquired a firearm, planned an approach route, and arrived on site without triggering a single digital alarm. Physical monitoring systems create a surveillance blind spot. Without human analysts synthesizing footage in real time, a camera only records an attack, it doesn't predict one. Relying on thick gates and fast draw speeds is an inadequate security model if intelligence agencies consistently fail to intercept the threat before it reaches the final perimeter. The United States projects an image as whole security dominance, supported by vast signal intelligence networks that wrap around the globe. Agencies like the CIA anchor this system, utilizing massive budgets to monitor microscopic shifts in militant behavior thousands of miles away. Yet an apparatus built to track foreign troop deployments missed a heavily armed individual executing a sustained 20-round assault mere steps from the Oval Office. This Venn diagram illustrates the bureaucratic friction at play. International monitors, domestic protectors like the FBI, and the Secret Service operate in distinct silos, leaving dangerous gaps in the center where critical data is never shared. Possessing the most advanced surveillance technology in the world provides little protection if internal agencies fail to synthesize that data into localized, actionable threat warnings. Following the gunfire, Washington, D.C. immediately locked down. Law enforcement vehicles flooded the surrounding blocks, and rigid physical perimeters were rapidly expanded. These immediate displays of overwhelming force are largely theatrical. They serve to calm the public and project strength after a critical breach has already occurred. Investigators will interrogate the arrested suspect to determine his motives and network, but the far more dangerous question is how he navigated the dragnet so easily in the first place. International adversaries and domestic extremists are closely monitoring these events. Every time a shooter reaches the gate, it exposes a structural vulnerability in the system. The intelligence community faces a stark reality. Until the disconnect between global surveillance and domestic prevention is repaired, the concept of an impenetrable American security ring remains an illusion.